In 1843, Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol, a story about a miser named Scrooge and the redemption on Christmas Eve. And in the opening chapter, Dickens writes, "There is no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, for nothing wonderful could come of the story I'm going to relate." And so today, I'm going to stand in front of you and say unequivocally, I love my daughter Carolyn. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing I say here now will make any sense to you. Now, I was in the operating room when my daughter was born, and after they had cleaned her up and put her in the blanket with a little cap on her head, to my surprise, they handed her to me to walk to the nursery. And as I'm holding my daughter in my hands and in my arms, the only thing I could think to myself was, what have I done? You know, I'm not responsible for this life. So she has this mean, this stubborn, and this not too bright father, and like all children, she's going to watch what I do, and she's going to listen to what I say, and she's going to learn not so much by what I tell her, but how I act, how I speak, and how I treat other people. And I was petrified. I mean, I'm not too good at those things, you know. So I made a commitment to her then and there that I was going to be the best daddy any little girl ever had. Now, personally, I was happy that my firstborn was a little girl for two reasons. One reason was my wife wanted a daughter, and if she didn't get a daughter, she was going to want to try again. Second reason is that I know I could be a much kinder and gentler father to a little girl than to a little boy. You see, if I had a little boy and he was playing out in the yard and he got hurt and he called for Daddy, Daddy would probably smack him in the back of the head and said, "You should have been more careful. I'm not going to be around all the time to save your butt." Okay, now with a little girl, little girls are different. You hold them, you wipe away their tears, you brush off their boo-boo, and you say, "Go ahead, Angel, go play. Be more careful next time." Now, my daughter's now getting to that age to where she's noticing boys a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. And when we go to the mall together, I play a little game with her. And I'll point to a boy, and he's wearing, you know, the baggy pants around his hips with his boxer shorts showing, messy hair, you know, piercings all over, tattoos all over. And I'll tell her, "You see that boy? If that boy ever shows up on my front doorstep, I'm going to give him a 5-second head start before I reach for my shot." And then she'll just play along and she'll go, "Well, what about that boy, Daddy? What about that boy?" "No, that boy's okay. I'll give him 30 seconds. So, now, of course, the inevitable is going to happen, and someday she's going to get married. And I'm going to have a talk with my daughter, and I'm going to have this very same talk with her fiance. And I'm going to give him the following friendly father-in-law advice. I'm going to, during one of the parties that typically happen before the wedding ceremony, I'm going to walk him over to his brother and his sister, and I'm going to say, "You see that boy and that girl there? They're your brother and sister. The Bible tells you to love them." And I'm going to take him, and I'm going to walk him over to his mother and father. "You see that woman and man there?" I say, "That's your mother and father. The Bible says to love and honor them." And then I'm going to take him over to my daughter, his future wife, and I'm going to say, "Now, when you marry my daughter, you're going to promise to God, and me being a very close second, okay, that you're going to love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and health, and forsake all others as long as you both shall live. Period." Now, this girl, my daughter, is going to be your wife and your new family. Those other people, your mother and father, your brother and sister, they're not your family anymore. They're your relatives. Okay? My daughter, your wife, and the children that you bear her, okay, they are job one. Now, my older brother, Manuel, told me of a story of a man he used to work with. And when his daughter got married, he pulled the groom off to the side right before the ceremony, and he gave him a little box about that big. And it was all wrapped with a ribbon in it. And when the groom opened up the box, there was a bullet from the man's hunting rifle.
Oh, God.
And the man looked at the groom, and on the bullet, the man had engraved on the bullet the groom's name. And the man looked at the groom and said, "Don't you ever hurt my little girl."
Oh, God.
And he turned around and walked away and said, "You keep that one. I got a whole box of it." Now, when I heard that, I said, "Wow, I gotta do that." And then I thought, well, sooner or later, I'm gonna die and I'm not gonna be around to protect my daughter anymore. So I had to come up with an alternative. And I came up with this. Now, again, during one of the parties before the ceremony, I'm gonna pull the groom off to the side and I'm gonna tell him a story. Now, when my daughter was a little girl and I used to put her to bed, I'd always ask her, when you fall asleep and you dream, where would you like to go? And my daughter would say, well, to the zoo or to the park or to a movie. And I'd say, okay, I'll meet you there. And we'll basically plan the dream. I need this. We'll plan the dream and we'll basically have a date in our dream. And actually, I actually remember having dreams going to the park or to the movie with my daughter. And then I would tell the groom, now, study this face. I want you to commit to memory what my face looks like. Everything from the receding hairline, furrow on my brow, my brown and bloodshot eyes, cheeks, nose, lips, gray beard. I want you to commit this to memory. I want you to carve the image of my face into your memory. Now, what I want you to do is I want every time you see a man with receding hair, I want you to see me. And every time you see a man with a gray beard, I want you to see me. I want you to look in the sky and look at a cloud, and I want you to see me. Now, close your eyes. Now, everything, if you ever mistreat my daughter, I'm going to know, because I visit my daughter in her dreams. And then I'm going to come visit you in your dreams. And you'll see my face coming at you in the darkness. And I'll be laughing. And as I approach, you won't understand why I'm laughing until you feel a tightness in your chest. And you look down, and what you'll see is my hands inside your chest, squeezing your heart to a standstill. And I'll say to you these words: your soul belongs to God, your heart belongs to my daughter, but yours is mine. So you be real sure when you say I do, because I know I will. So with all these things said, I'll repeat myself, and I hope that you have a better understanding when I say I truly love my daughter. Thank you.